Greetings, this is IDA member Corey Cole. She's going to be helping us with your trapping introduction. We won't talk about evolution of motion until the second level. I want to get enough basics down so we have some tools to work with. First thing we're going to talk about is live hand. Go ahead and grab my wrist. Now somebody grabs your wrist like this, you want to find the weakest link in this chain, and that point is right here where her thumb and her fingers are, and there's even a gap here because her hand's not big enough to go around my wrist. So you go live hand, spread your fingers out like that, and then you can pull back. And that's one breakaway that you can do. And as some people point out, you know, why spread your hand out like that if they're up on the wrist? It's because you don't know if the grip is going to be on your hand or not. But this is the best way to make a thin target to pierce through her grip with. So you just pull back like that. Now the other technique I wanted to show you is a really critical component called a distraction strike. Now if I wanted to come in and do a counter wrist grab or some other technique, she's going to be seeing what I'm doing immediately. But if you come in with a distraction strike, my favorite is a low line kick. So at the same time you're coming in to execute your hand technique, you're also bringing your foot in and popping her in the shin. Or in some of the more advanced levels, you can use a hand strike such as a slap. But for right now, we'll just do low line kicks. So you come in and pop her like that. Now don't do it in two motions. You don't want to kick her and then go in for some kind of grab. You want to do it all in one motion. So you kick her, nail her like that, and then you can put her into a wrist lock. And those are distraction strikes. The other technique at this level is a counter wrist grab. Now if you don't want to break away from her grip but entrap her, wrist lock her, teach her a lesson, you can swing your hand around like that, and now you have the grip on her and she's in a weaker position. If I go just a little bit more, I can break her grip entirely. So that's the counter wrist grab, and we'll step up closer to the camera here in a moment and show it to you a little bit better. You just swing around. It's called circular motion in Hapkido. Grab the wrist. Now you have some control over your attacker. And that leads us into our first wrist lock at this level. It's going to be an inward lock. So somebody, okay, let go. All right, come up and grab me. Now here's the entire sequence. I'll come in, distraction, pop her, counter wrist grab, and then for an inward wrist lock, you actually end up making an arm bar and a wrist lock. You're going to try and touch her palm to the back of her arm, and it's not going to go, it's going to hurt, and as you can see, she's trying to avoid the pain. It's called pain avoidance, and it's a very critical element in a lot of throws. Okay, let's try that again. Distraction, come around, and then drop her down. You can also put your hand or your sword hand right here, drive her to the ground, but that's getting a little further than what your belt level's ready for. And the other one is, okay, grab my shoulder. Okay. Now, it's probably not going to happen very often that somebody reaches up and grabs your shoulder, but I've read articles compiling police reports and some FBI stats that show all the different ways a policeman is attacked, and I was surprised by how many times a policeman is grabbed on the shoulder or the hand. So that's why I decided to keep these techniques in the system. Now this time what we're going to do is a forward wrist lock, where we're actually going to take the wrist and try to touch the back of the hand to the back of the arm by just going forward like this. Now you notice how this elbow bends. We can't, if you want to arm bar, you have to twist, and that's going to be a different kind of wrist lock. But with this one, you want to go with the motion of the arm, and I'll show you. Here, go ahead and get that. Ready? Okay. Come up, bend it down, go in with the motion, and control this wrist. Always have your thumb on the back of the wrist, and there's another point I'll make here in a second. And you can take this, break the wrist, or you could step in and use a pain-assisted sweep and drop her to the ground. Okay. So here's the full sequence. distraction coming in around like that. Now the reason you want to keep your hand, or your thumb on the back of the hand, is the metacarpals in the hand are very sensitive, and if you're having a hard time getting your subject to comply with your wrist lock, if you haven't applied it correctly, you can take your bone on your thumb, and you can, I won't do it, don't worry, and you can press down in between the metacarpals in the hand and cause a whole lot of pain. That hurt. Alright, so let's go through it one more time. Live hand, spread those fingers out like that, and then you can rip out. Okay. Counter wrist grab. Okay. And that's the back wrist lock. Shoulder. And you come in with a forward wrist lock. Like that. Now with all these techniques, the distraction strike goes without saying. So you just do a low line kick, or you can come up, pop her in the face, or anything else. So those are your wrist locks and techniques for your level. Thank you.